Hey guys, I'm here with Mike Patey. I'm sure most of you guys know who he is. If not, definitely go check his channel. But I'm here with the famous Scrappy, and we're just going to do a quick walk around if you're not familiar with this plane and some of the really cool, unique things that he's done to it to make it his own.
Great, let's do it.
So Mike, let's just start with the gear. Like, what made you think, what gave you the idea, I guess, to make something such as extreme as this and awesome?
So we go out as a big group, a gaggle of aircraft, I guess, and there's a couple of hilltops that there's not room to get all of us on, and sometimes we come in and we land on the side slope of the hill, and we call it tip over ridge, because sometimes you get on it and you got to full throttle and bail off the side. And I thought, you know what, it'd be pretty cool if some of these strips that I've always wanted to land, if I could preset the gear to 5-degree left lean or 5-degree right lean before I hit the hill. So I can come at a sloped hill, preset it and land and have the plane stay flat and not want to pitch you down. And so I thought, well, I'll make it fully dynamic, and while I'm at it, let's make the back and the front dynamic so I can hit takeoff mode. The rear suspension will drop 13 inches. The front will raise 20 and give me max angle of attack. So,
oh, that's so awesome.
That was part of it. And then even coming in here today, heavy crosswinds, or the day I crashed Draco, I thought, you know, it'd be nice if I could decide not to take off with the wing high angle of attack, but what if I could drop the front all the way down, lift the back, the opposite of a normal takeoff, and have my wing lose all its angle of attack, keep the wind out from underneath it, and take off with a bit more ground roll and just lift off flat with a lot higher margin of airspeed before I come off the ground. And so making a fully dynamic suspension had to do with Draco, backcountry, and just the adaptability of the airplane. And then one step further, these motorcycles are way off the ground, and I can raise one side, lower the other, that motorcycle get 2 inches from the ground, and I can just unhook it and hook it myself.
Oh, that's so awesome. And now the slats, like, what gave you the idea? I know there's a couple, maybe like the Highlander that has like a slat, but not anything like a dual slat and everything. Like, what gave you the idea? Have you seen something like that before?
I've never seen a dual slat, but I put in a bunch of slats. I modeled a bunch of designs in the past into computer, and I started doing flow analysis and watching how they reacted differently. And then I thought, gosh, it works so well to accelerate the air that comes in the front at 4 inches, reduces to roughly 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches, depending on which slat, and seeing the velocity. And I thought, what if I could stack one velocity with another velocity and carry the attached flow further back the wing on a much slower flight? That was the theory, and I failed miserably at a bunch of different iterations before I found a way to do it. And then when I found that way, I expanded the envelope so I could be any phase of flight and keep it fully attached. And honestly, it worked way better than I ever thought. Like, I have the heaviest Cub out there. It's a big touring Suburban filled with batteries and motorcycles, and it flies slower than any plane I've ever owned.
What do you think the useful load is still on this?
So I got 2,000 pounds of useful load on this aircraft. We can put 10 hours of fuel on board, 2 big guys, all our bags, 2 motorcycles, load the gun cases, and still have several hundred pounds left over.
Wow. Now, maybe you can show me this prop. I've never seen a prop that's looked quite like this. What is different, and what's it for, I guess?
All right, so the prop is definitely different, and I don't recommend it for people to try. It's part of a testing series I'm doing to see how far we can push the envelope. This prop is from an airboat, and it does really, really well at what it's designed to do. The low end, power torque. I mean, you see these airboats, touring airboats, they'll put 15 people on aluminum flat bottom sitting on the grass and then drag it into the water. And I needed to find a way, how much thrust can I make? And on one of my past videos, I did a test on several aircraft props, and I did static pull, hooking it to a truck, and then I'd meter the pull at different RPMs. When I hooked this up and I hit the throttle, the truck dragged skidding across the ramp, and I went, all right, well, we definitely know it's higher, but we got to get a bigger truck to find out how much more thrust we were able to make. And so it's really fun. It's ground adjustable, so it is my limiting factor. It's horribly inefficient up on top end, but it's got a ton of bite on the bottom to get this heavy bird rolling. So I do need to do a constant speed. Right now, I'm maxed out, prop RPM, half throttle is as much as I can give in cruise flight.
Okay, so we're looking at the solar here. He has solar panels on the top of his wings. Why don't you just quickly tell me what that's for,
All right.
and how it helps.
So in our search and rescue, we're constantly having a problem with batteries going dead when we're on long hikes, long hunts. And so we're trading off whose radios are on or off. And we always wanted to have more power, but you're not packing generators. So Scrappy's become a base station. We have 18 solar panels putting out 900 watts of power. Inside each wing is a big long battery bank of EarthX lithium batteries in each wing. I can produce enough power to charge the motorcycles while I fly, land, ride around, come back, the batteries be fully topped off and recharged. I can go infinite times during the day and make more power than I'm using driving the motorcycles around. I also have giant inverter on board. I have 110 power plugs by the bikes, in the back, on the side, also 220. I can take and carry a welder with me, plug in 220 power and weld and repair a broken aircraft, maybe put the gear back, get it back out of the backcountry. So it's nice to have unlimited power. It also is tied into my main battery bank with a simple flip of a switch. So if I tried to start it and the battery didn't keep up, I can flip one switch and add 8 more batteries out of a bank of wings, put it back in, start myself up, so I'm never risking being stranded. So that's the purpose of the solar, unlimited power, anywhere, anytime. And if I had dual alternator failure, I don't even have to shed one of all those Garmin screens. I can fly indefinitely off the power I'm making and then continue even at night for more than the 10 hours of fuel range with how much battery I have on board.
And one last question, just going into your interior, because that's just the next biggest thing that's different than everything else out there that you've seen. What made you go with like the setup that you went with? Was there something that why do you have
so many screens?
Like how much information can you fit on there?
So here's the logic. It adds more weight for sure. So most people are trying to eliminate screens. Scrappy is not a competition plane. It is a rescue touring Suburban. I can load everything and go anywhere for 10 hours and hunt for people, and that's what it's built for. What I wanted was less time staring at the cockpit. So I actually had a comment come out that said, with that many screens, how do you look out the window? And the funny thought about that, if you actually think about a big screen, if you need to look at traffic, you turn and you spin to traffic and then you spin back and then you look out the window. If you look at weather, you change page, skip down, look at weather. If you want to pull up a chart, you're changing screens.
You have one of
I never change a single screen. I have traffic, weather, charts, the plates, where I'm going, everything is fully loaded. And so my time in the cockpit is almost zero. My time should be looking for a missing person. And so I thought if I arrange the screens and never move them, I know traffic, no traffic, back out the window. Engines, good, back out the window. I'm never flipping pages. And so that was the purpose. I gave up weight to get more eye out the window.
All right, thanks, Mike. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. So see you guys next time. And go check out his channel if you haven't. If you want to see the full build, it's a really awesome build.